If your leadership at home feels weak, it's probably not because you need a better communication strategy. You see, most men I talk to already know what they're supposed to do. Read more, communicate better, show up more. They've heard it. And it's just not landing. Because the real problem isn't knowledge. It's proof. You see, I lost 250 pounds. And I know what it feels like to have no proof that you can follow through on in hard times. And I know it changes when you finally build that proof. So here's what I've learned. Your family doesn't follow your intentions. They follow consistency. And if you don't lead yourself first, your family fills that gap before you do. So there's 3 ways physical discipline builds leadership at home. One simple standard that you can start this week. Because if you're trying to lead your family while ignoring your own discipline, your wife and your kids already feel that gap, even if nobody said it to you out loud. You see, undisciplined men don't accidentally become great fathers. It's not how it works. The man you are when no one's watching is the man that your family gets every single day. Discipline outside your home doesn't say outside your home. It follows you in. And what you're building in the gym, in quiet before anyone else is awake, in the decision to get up and work on the business and the mission, when it would be easier to stay in bed, it's not just about your body. It's proof that you can lead something, that you can make a decision and follow through. You see, your family doesn't follow your intentions. They follow your consistency. And the first thing you need to lead is you. Leading yourself first. Because if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead your family. Now, I want to tell you what it actually felt like to be 500 pounds. Not the number, the feeling. You see, I was always doing math in my head, trying to stay 3 steps ahead of everyone else just to stay ahead of the embarrassment. I'd get to restaurants early, before all my friends arrived, just so that I could make sure that we got a table instead of a booth. I didn't want to find out in front of everyone that I couldn't fit in the booth. I drove everywhere, not because I like road trips, because I didn't want to make the person next to me uncomfortable on the plane, or even have to ask for a seatbelt extender, which most of the time they didn't fit. I miss going to games with my dad, Braves games, Alabama football. All of those memories were missed because I was too big for the seats. Because let's be honest, they weren't built for a man my size. And like the airplane, I didn't want to make him or anyone else uncomfortable sitting next to me. I wasn't living. I was managing. Every situation, every room, every plan. 2 or 3 steps ahead of that moment that would just expose me. And here's what most people never talk about. I brought all of that into every relationship that I had, every conversation, every moment of friction. I was a man with zero proof that he could follow through on anything hard. And deep down, I knew that. The weight was visible. The leadership problem underneath, that wasn't. When the weight started coming off, something happened that I didn't expect. It wasn't just the scale. It was my posture in conversations. The way I held eye contact when something needed to be said. The ability to stay in a hard moment instead of going quiet or going sideways. I didn't just lose 250 pounds. I found proof that I could lead myself. And that changed everything for me. Not because I became a different person, because I finally became the person I've been avoiding becoming. Now, this isn't a weight loss story. This is a self-leadership story. And you don't have to start at 500 pounds for it to be true for you. So here's something else that no one talks about. When you're over 500 pounds, you don't get respected. And you shouldn't. It doesn't matter what your title is. It doesn't matter how hard you work. People make a judgment before you even speak. I know because I lived it. But when the weight came off, something shifted immediately. Not because I said anything different, because I looked like someone who had decided to lead and respect himself. I stood out. I carried myself differently, and people responded differently. I gained respect. Connections I wouldn't have had before. Confidence I didn't know I was missing. And the way Autumn sees me now, that changed too. Not because of how I looked. She even told me that directly. You know, I asked her one night if she had found me more attractive now that I lost all my weight. And I was kind of bracing for what she said. But I wanted her to be honest with me. She wouldn't hurt my feelings. What she told me, it wasn't really what I thought I would hear. You see, as men, and guys, you know this, we eat right and we go to the gym to look better for women. That's our nature. So when she told me that it was my confidence that she found more attractive, it kind of blew my mind. She told me that it was the way I carry myself, the way I care more about the clothes that I wear because I feel better and want to look better. The fact that I proved to myself that I could do something hard and then see it through. That's what she found attractive. It wasn't the body, the proof. And that's not vanity. That's just reality. Physical discipline is the most practical form of leadership training available to any man. And most of us are skipping it. Because the enemy is that avoidance is dressed up as being busy. We say we don't have time for the gym, but we have time to scroll on our phone. We say we're too tired to eat better, but we stay up until midnight watching something that leaves us empty. We say we'll start Monday. Monday keeps moving. And look, I'm not here to shame that. I lived it for years. When you have no physical discipline, you have no proof that you can do hard things. And when you have no proof, you lead from anxiety. Your wife feels that. Your kids feel that. Not as a judgment, as an absence of something they've been waiting for. Now, your home is waiting for the version of you who decided that he's worth the effort, and not the Instagram version. The man who showed up for himself. Soft masculinity says that strength is something to apologize for. Rage-based masculinity says it has to be loud to count. And you know what? Neither one's right. Because the man your family needs does the quiet, unglamorous work. And then lets that become the proof. And there are 3 ways physical discipline builds your leadership at home. Step 1, discipline builds decision-making capacity. When you have no physical discipline, your self-regulation is already depleted before the hard conversations even start. A man with no routine, no standard, no daily practice of choosing the harder thing, that man walks into conflict at home running on empty. He shuts down or blows up. Not because he's a bad person, but because he has no reserves. Building physical discipline, getting up when you said you would, doing the workout when you don't feel like it, choosing the better meal when the easy one is just right there. You're training your nervous system to override impulse, to respond instead of react. And that's the same muscle that you use when your wife says something that stings, but you need to stay in the conversation. The same muscle when your kid pushes back and you need to be firm without being harsh. Ephesians 5 calls husbands to lead sacrificially. Now, this is not a Sunday morning concept. That's a Tuesday night when you're exhausted, dinner went sideways, and she still needs you to be present concept. A man who has already practiced choosing the harder right thing over the easier wrong one. That's who shows up. Start in the gym. It'll follow you home. Same skill, different setting. Step 2, consistency builds credibility before you say a word. Your family watches what you do when it costs something. You can't tell your son that hard work matters if he watches you quit every fitness goal before week 3. You can't tell your daughter that she's worth protecting if you won't protect your own health. And you can't ask your wife to trust your leadership if there's no evidence that you lead yourself. The man who shows up for his workout when he doesn't feel like it is the same man who shows up for his business when it's hard. Your family sees that. Your clients see it too. Consistency is the argument that you don't have to make out loud. When your family sees you wake up early, do the hard thing, and come home steady, they see a man they can count on. Trust is built in the small moments, not the big speeches. And every morning that you show up for yourself is a moment that your family is quietly filing away. Step 3, physical standards are stewardship. Your body isn't yours to neglect for free. Someone always pays. And I'm talking about being present for your family at 60 and 65. Having the energy to be in the game, not quietly neglecting yourself for 20 years and then wondering why you have nothing left to give. And here's what I've noticed since losing the weight. When someone meets me for the first time, before I ever say a word, they make an assumption that I respect myself. I have standards. And that assumption opens doors. It creates credibility before I've earned it through conversation. I've seen it happen. We read physical signals instantly. And a man who carries himself like someone who takes his own life seriously gets a different response in a job interview, a sales meeting, and a room full of people that he's never met. Your body is your first business card, and your wife and kids read that signal first. And right now, it's either opening doors or closing them before you ever get a chance to speak. Proverbs 24:3 says, "A house is built through wisdom and understanding." Wisdom has to be practiced somewhere before it can lead anywhere. And your body is the first house that you're responsible for. Stewardship, not vanity. Stewardship of the signal that you send before your words arrive. And here's what's worked for me, so I want to share it with you. Pick one physical standard and hold it for 7 days. Not an overhaul, not a new program, a new meal plan, and a 5 a.m. wake-up call all at once. That reset never lasts. I've tried that more than I can count. Do one thing. For me, it was the morning. Up before everyone else. Workout done before the day had a chance to get in the way. And maybe for you, it's getting up at the same time every day. 20 minutes of movement before you look at your phone. One meal with actual intention. Pick the one that fits where you are right now. Write it down and then tell someone. And then at the end of the week, don't judge yourself on the result. Judge yourself on whether you followed through. That's what we're building. Not the physique, the proof. The evidence that when you say you're going to do something, you do it. That man starts with you deciding today that you're worth leading. Because 20 years from now, your son is going to build his picture of manhood from somewhere. Not from a single conversation. From 1,000 small moments that told him what a man actually does when it's hard. When it's inconvenient. When no one's watching. You are the primary source material. The version of you that shows up for himself every morning is writing that blueprint right now. Not loudly, not dramatically, just consistently. Your son is watching whether discipline is something men practice or something they just talk about. Your daughter's watching whether a strong man can also be safe. And your wife is watching whether the man that she married keeps his word to himself when no one's grading him. And 20 years from now, your family won't remember what you avoided. They'll remember what you walked toward. Now look, we're playing the long game here, guys. The gym is where you practice playing it. Not because the gym matters more than your family, because who you are in the gym is who you bring home. Lead yourself first. That's the whole thing. Drop a comment below. Tell me the one standard that you're committing to this week. One word's enough. Say it publicly. It changes something. Now, next week, we're going to talk about something that trips up almost every dad that I know, even the disciplined ones. You're going to want to be here. I'll see you then.